Earth. Birthplace of the franchise. Capable of great sequels and bad ones. For in our quest to give a fair trial, a deeper sequel dawns. We have seen this all before. Here on Sequel Rights.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hymanson.
And we are here talking Transformers Revenge of the Fallen this week. And we have a special guest here with us today. Friend of the show, Chad Kaplan, is here.
First of all, friends, a little strong. Second, I thought we were talking Transmorphers Fall of Men. So that's what I watched and what I am prepared to talk about.
I had that same issue last week. I was confused. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, it's like when I watched Atlantic Rim last week and got confused.
Wait, it's called Fall of Man?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
See, man, that's good. They're getting good with those titles. Good on them. Tricked so many grandmas.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, man. Well, we last week kicked off our series on Transformers as we get ready for Transformers Rise of the Beasts this summer. And here we are talking about the sequel, first sequel in the group. But before we get too far into things, Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
Yeah, send us emails with your thoughts, comments, suggestions for future franchises at sequelrights@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at Sequel Rights.
And rate and review wherever you're listening. 5 stars goes a long way to helping other people find us. I don't know if Spotify has stars. I like how every week I talk about, like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
never look it up.
It's a mystery.
I think on Spotify, you just got to follow us.
Yeah.
Follow.
Okay.
Hit the follow button.
Yeah.
You know?
It's easy.
Get updated on when we have new episodes.
We made it easy for you.
So easy.
But not on yourself.
But not on myself. No.
Streaming for free.
No, I made it pretty easy for myself, too.
Oh, boy. All right. You know what? Why don't we just, let's just rip that Band-Aid off and get into Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
Do we have to?
As soon as my finger hits this button, where there's no turning back, Chad. There's no turning back.
You touched the shard of the Allspark, and
Do
now
it.
you're on the hero's
Do
journey.
it.
You're dancing with the Decepticon
Might as
devil. All right, here we go.
B, I want to talk to you about the college thing, okay?
I'm so excited.
Hey, I'm not taking you with me. Look, the Guardian thing is done, okay? You did your job. Come on, don't do that. You're killing me, B. You'll always be my first car, man. Hey, beautiful. I got your webcam so we can chat 24/7.
Sounds cute. I can't wait.
I just had a full-blown mental meltdown in the middle of my class. I'm seeing symbols.
We've kept much from you, Sam.
This isn't my war.
I fear it soon will be.
What you're about to see is top secret. Do not tell my mother.
Any of these look like the symbols you saw?
Archaeologists found these unexplained markings in ancient ruins all over the world.
They gotta mean something, like a message or like a map. Can you read this?
Read? No, we don't really do much reading.
All right, welcome to our discussion on Ancient Aliens, the movie.
Oh, boy. First of all, I just want to congratulate Michael Bay and everyone for learning how to make a live movie, because I don't know if you noticed, but this movie takes place today in capital letters. Today.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to call this a movie? It's more like a Chevrolet commercial.
All those General Motors vehicles making it in there. So Michael Bay is back. All the core cast is back. Everyone except for John Voight. No John Voight. But
he was attacked by a
no
snake.
Anthony Anderson either.
That's true. No Anthony. There's lots of random people.
Yeah, no hackers.
Yeah.
they hacked all they could. Tyler. They hacked it all. This is from 2009. 2 years later.
Yep.
Fast out with a sequel because the first one did so well. We talked about this briefly at the end of last week, but it's crazy that this is another writer's strike affected movie.
Yeah.
I was feeling like, it's funny. Like I finished the movie and then I was like, let me go check out the special features. And there's basically like a feature length, like a whole nother film worth of special features to watch, like 2 hours and 14 minutes. But it was just wild because like the start of it is all about the writer's strike and they're holding like the same signs and everything.
Oh man.
Do we think that if the writers had more time, they would have been able to save this movie?
Maybe. So basically,
I would say there's already too much happening.
Yeah. Well, what they say in the special features is that they Kurtzman and Orsi basically, and there's a third writer.
They're like, we're really busy on Sleepy Hollow.
They brought in a third writer because they needed to like really move quick, and basically they wrote an outline, and then that's what they started all the like pre-production and planning on because they didn't have time.
Sure.
And then like when the strike ended, they had to like just bang out a script like super quick. That's why it's maybe not the best.
It's really rough.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But so Sam Witwicky is back.
Wiki.
Optimus Prime is back. Linkin Park is back.
With like a credit for partial score.
Yeah, because they get like that first. We get introduced to a new Sector 7 is dead, right?
Right.
Now we have this.
Optimus Prime works for the government.
Exactly. Optimus Prime and the Autobots have teamed up with the government, and they now form this group called Nest.
Right. Okay, so I think in the last episode, I mentioned that I thought the Allspark was just like a little shard, and it's because the ride, I think, is based on this movie specifically.
Right.
So that is why I thought it was a shard and why I was confused about the cube
because it has
or whatever.
Devastator in the ride and everything.
Yeah, and in the ride, they have, like, in the queue, they have the little Allspark
Does
shard.
it have Devastator's scrotum?
Right.
We can only hope. It does not. The ride does not.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Why did I write "suck my popsicle" in the notes? What was
Because
that?
that's probably something.
The twins, I think, they were like an ice cream truck.
Oh, right.
And it
Somebody
said-
yells out "suck my popsicle."
No, the ice cream truck says "suck my popsicle" on it.
On the truck. Okay, got it.
Comedy.
You know, like how the Decepticons had like to punish and
punish
enslave.
and enslave,
This
yeah.
one says "suck my popsicle." you
Got
know?
it. Okay,
Classic.
that's why I wrote that down.
Classic.
Great.
Oh boy,
Comedy.
Do Mel's back,
That's
What?
right.
and is Tyrese?
Tyrese is back.
Tyrese is back, but
He doesn't have really any lines.
I was gonna say, like, I kept seeing him in the movie, and I was like, is that him? Because he hasn't said a single line.
Well, and most like also, you can't recognize Tyrese unless he's eating snacks.
He's gotta have his hand in the chip bag.
Yeah.
He does have lines towards the end, but like, he just says stupid stuff like,
Right.
It just says like we're so screwed, or
Yeah.
like I hate
no.
this godforsaken desert.
we're gonna whoop their butts, or stuff like that. Stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, like the little desert town that is like in Egypt that they're like exploding. It looks exactly the same as the set from the first movie, which I think was a completely different country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh well.
It's I didn't think we were going to get into this as
Sorry.
early, but I
happening.
do think that it is very interesting of these movies where like they are of this time, and specifically these big, like, it's a toy movie, right? It's basically like giant robots, but like there's all this like forced army recruitment in it, like militarization. And I wonder now, looking back on it, if you're looking back in this era of cinema, knowing what we know how the war in Afghanistan ended and Iraq, of just like all of this desert like this era of military integration into cinema is like, oh, like it's probably not going to age well. And this certainly hasn't. And I feel like that anybody going back and looking at it, like the fact that we're like, fuck yeah, like look at how awesome all our fucking like military shit
I think
is.
that's the same exact reason no one went to see Guy Ritchie's The Covenant.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's really weird. Like I had that same thought like during the movie, like because a lot of the movie feels like this is I made the joke about Ancient Aliens, but you could also be like, this movie is military. The movie
really is
featuring the Transformers.
Yes.
So there's so many times where it's like, you know who can fix this? The military.
Yeah.
Not the giant robots who already know what's going on and have probably fought these guys before. No, the military can fix this.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the things that, we have no idea what Rise of the Beast is going to be like, but at least from the trailers, one of the things that gets me more excited about it is like, it doesn't look like the military is in it at all. It's like mostly the robots. This one, like, I really am curious how much, I know they get a lot of production value out of the military. And, but I'm just wonder how much of that contract like dictates what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
It's weird because we talked about in the first movie how they create this like sector, whatever it was,
Sector
to, so that everybody can like blame them and the military looks good. But in this one, Nest is good, and the president and his Secretary of Defense are the bad ones, and they even like say at one point like President Obama is being moved, or I'm like, do not speak his name. There's no need for that. Okay,
Doesn't need to be that real.
No,
okay?
they just could have said the president or like President Smith or whatever, some fake president. Like, why would you ever like date it and like invoke the name of the real president?
And I know everyone's really like sitting here, we've been talking about Nest at the start here right off the bat. I know everyone's like, what does Nest mean?
Oh, right.
It means non-biological extraterrestrial species treaty. Rolls off the
Treaty? Is that the last word?
That's what it says.
Oh my God.
So
Treaty.
I have
Team
looked this up,
would make more
and there is a
sense.
Wired article from 2009 that's talking about Transformers 1, but it is right before while they're shooting Transformers 2. They say Hollywood action director Michael Bay enlisted U.S. military to provide realistic props for his 2007 giant robot epic Transformers. After the Pentagon helped rewrite the script, Bay got access to helicopters, warships for just $25,000 an hour.
See, that's what I'm saying. I guarantee that's what's
and then the next is like, as we speak, he is shooting now that has even more government integration.
There's this whole part about like John Turturro's character who shows up later.
Robo Warrior.
Yeah, there's all this talk. There's this whole scene about him calling this Navy captain to order this like railgun attack. That I'm like, that reeks of like someone in the military was like, we gotta put this in. We got this cool.
We got
weapon.
railgun.
People gotta know. People gotta know that we have this cool weapon, even though in the movie we're gonna make it seem like it's top secret.
Right.
Okay,
let's like go back and just say what the premise of this.
The premise of the movie is that they had to shoehorn in another hero's journey for Sam Witwicky, where he's like, I'm going to college and I want to forget about everything that happened 2 years ago.
Including my extremely hot girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
the movie.
Well, she has to care for her dad who's out of prison, and like that's just too much baggage for him.
Sam's dad telling him to like move on from Michaela already was really weird. Like,
Yeah, I was like, are you
seen her?
insane? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, maybe he was like, I don't know, can my son pull that kind of girl?
Keep this girl.
I don't know.
It's very the storyline between the Sam and Michaela, the two of them, is just god awful.
It's insane.
Garbage, like disgusting.
It takes a lot to tell someone you love them. You have to literally die.
Well, and she's like, that's like all she cares about in this world. Like, she mentions that she has to take care of her dad, but really all she cares about is getting him to say, I love you before he leaves. And it's just like, it's so crazy. There's this whole scene where she's like changing clothes in their yard for absolutely no reason.
Weird.
I thought she was like gonna propose to him because she changes into a white dress and has like a bouquet of flowers. And I'm like, what is she doing? And it was just to wear a different outfit than she was wearing 5 minutes earlier to say goodbye to him.
It's just one of those like crazy gratuitous things where it's like, why do we got to keep cutting back to her like in her underwear? Basically,
it was so
like she could have just that whole thing could have happened and we would have been like, oh, she changed her
the
clothes.
first shot of her in this movie is her laying on a motorcycle in a way that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, I was like, that seems like the most reasonable way to put that
to paint.
tattoo.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're gonna paint on the front console of a motorcycle,
you better pretend like you're fucking it.
Lay on it with your butt in the air.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. The whole
I mean, here's the thing. It makes a cruel amount of sense knowing who's made this movie.
Well, and she's like so jealous. She thinks he's gonna cheat on her. He like stands her up for their Zoom date, and like, what the hell? Like, that makes no sense. Everyone in the world knows that like she is way out of his league. He should be the one that's like worried about like, oh, you're gonna cheat on me when I go out of town or blah blah blah. Like, what in the like? Yeah.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's too bad he went to school where all the girls are supermodels. Even the random girls in the dorm, it's like, wow,
every single one.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you work for Victoria's Secret, probably. I don't know. It's just crazy.
That's probably where Bay cast because he did direct the Victoria's Secret.
Exactly.
It's just crazy. Like, I mean, I can just like skip ahead because I can summarize her whole story so quickly. She just wants him to like say that he loves her, and that's literally all she cares about. Like, even they're like about to die. They're running away from these giant robots, and she's like, why do boys always want to change the subject or whatever? Like, it's like, what? He's talking about the world ending. Like, and you're going to be like, well, boys are so annoying. Like,
I did think that part where he's like, eventually, we'll get into it. But like, eventually the parents get kidnapped or whatever. And there's that part where he's like, Bumblebee, take my parents and get out of here. And he tells her to go with him too because she's like not needed.
Yeah.
She's not doing anything. It's just like, no, I'm not going to leave you. And like, it's just like,
this movie,
I need to hear the L word.
You can draw a direct line to like a lot of the toxic masculinity that like it is like this is how it is reinforced. Like this is the DNA of a lot of that shit where it's like this beautifully hot woman is like, reduced to, I really want this dude to like say that he loves me and I can't do anything otherwise. And it's like that entitlement. That
she's
comes
just going to sit around and pine for him while he's at
and also the mom says that they already had sex too and that she was listening. What? Like, I mean, not that there's any right order to do these things in a relationship, but like, I guess if your mom has already heard you have sex, maybe you should be at the point where you can like...
I mean, they're pretty open about that thing. I mean, his dad slaps her ass right in front of him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
God.
And they're like, I'm going to have a lot more fun when your kid's gone.
Yeah, but that's just like the two parents.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I'm so glad we're getting more of in this movie, right,
oh,
guys?
God, what
right?
a nightmare.
Right?
But honestly,
Well,
his arc with his dad is like more of an arc than what he has with Michaela, which is insane.
The way that they put her in a corner in this movie, to go back to Dirty Dancing, is misogynistic. Like,
and then like
it's insane.
They're even like throwing the other guy to land on top of her or whatever. This like,
Also,
roommate.
I really do love that this. This is genuine. I love that this movie has a character that is along for the full ride that nobody likes.
it does absolutely nothing.
It's like, you know what this movie needs? A charisma black hole.
But that guy has like
who constantly gets tased.
Yes.
That
Even by
actor
himself,
has like one of the #1 shows on television right now that like no one even knows it's him or has ever heard of it. Like, I don't. He's Will Trent, okay? He's a police officer who has a dog and is good at his job, maybe? I really don't know what that show's about.
It's really bad.
It's really bad? Oh, okay.
Abby really likes it.
Will he what?
Yeah, that's what
Will Trent what?
Yeah, will he what?
I'm sorry. That was my joke when I saw the posters everywhere. Yeah. Also, with Michaela, they call back to your favorite moments of the first film when John Turturro meets back up with her and he's like, look, she's still a criminal and look at now, she's all old and she's older and more. No, he says like, she's more mature. Ooh.
It's so disgusting.
You know what? This movie also didn't need? John Turturro.
Yeah.
Is it the first one or this one where he says, like, she's a criminal, criminals are hot?
That was the first one.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they call back to it. And
they're like,
he's like still doing it.
Yeah.
And like never once does like Shia LaBeouf say like, hey, don't talk about my girlfriend that way. Or just don't talk about my friend or this human person like that. Like, stand up for her. Ugh.
Yeah, because all Sam cares to do is go like this. or like this. Or like this. That's him the whole movie, basically.
Well, even their relationship is sidelined, where it's like it's insane that this movie, the inciting incident of this movie, is that Shia LaBeouf puts on an old sweatshirt.
I can't believe that like nobody noticed that this entire time. Like, and then he just puts it in her purse and doesn't mention it at all. Even once everything starts happening, he never says like, "Oh, there's a thing. She's got it in her purse." Like they never go back to it. She just brings it out at some point. I guess she does capture the little robot guy in the toolbox, but like, it's still not cool.
Yeah. So, we're talking about the main thrust. The movie opens, and we're in not 10,000 BC like the movie.
That's right.
But like the Roland Emmerich movie or whatever. But we're in 17,000 BC. And it turns out that the Transformers have been here before.
Oh.
And they've interacted with primitive man.
I love the awkward, weird close-up of primitive man's teeth.
Yes. Like, this is a weird... Why is it got to be like this?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I made the ancient aliens joke, and for future things that happen in the movie. But that's the main thrust. And there's this whole thing about like our main bad guy here is someone called the Fallen.
Yep.
The movie's called Revenge of the Fallen. So of course, like most of the time in the movie, he's around going like this.
Revenge is mine.
Oh, is it? The Fallen's getting revenge. Oh, I get it. Revenge of the Fallen.
The Fallen just sounds like a band name or something.
It does, yeah. So the whole thing with him, let me just finish explaining. So the whole thing with him is he is one of the primes, which are like the old school, like super,
Amazon
it's like the
rib.
Exactly. Prime cut of steak. Yeah, it's like these are the like Transformer elite of the olden days, and now they're he's a prime and he can only be killed by a prime, and now Optimus Prime is the only one left. That's the whole.
Seems like anyone can kill Optimus. It seems like it's pretty easy.
Yeah, but it's not even like, oh, Optimus Prime was there and has just been alive this whole time. It's like, no, he's a descendant of them, which I'm like, don't even start talking about family lines, genetics, descendants. Once you open up that can of worms, then I'm like, well, do they have sex?
Oh, yeah,
do they reproduce?
robots fuck.
Like,
oh, you know it.
What? And then they don't even like, obviously they don't address any of that, but then they kind of also introduce the idea that like we can take apart people for parts. Like when Megatron comes back, he's like, oh, just kill that smaller one and give me his parts. And then later somebody's like dying and they're
Jetfire,
like, take my parts, you know, like as they die, which I'm like, I guess it's good for like organ donation. But then I'm like, it's bad in this. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Are Transformers just killing each other all the time to upgrade themselves?
I know, yeah. That's what I'm wondering.
I mean,
that would be interesting.
That was one of the things I noticed in this movie. There's lots of brutal Transformer on Transformer violence.
Yeah.
And they do make a Megazord type thing in the end, but this is not what I said last week that I wanted. I wanted like a Holdo maneuver, Transformer into each other, Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
Let's kill each other by transforming on each other. I don't want them to functionally transform into each other.
Sure.
I want them to die that way.
Well, I love that because like one of the reasons
David Cronenberg's Transformers.
Yeah.
I was like, one of the reasons that I love the toys in general and also like Beast Wars and stuff is like that.
Oh, you can do that with them?
Yeah, well, sometimes. But like, and Power Rangers, all these like kids shows with toys, they're always like Dragon Ball Z. They're always getting upgrades to like the next thing. So like parts in this movie that got me excited when I saw it when it first came out was like, Optimus suddenly having those blades. Yeah. And also like at the end when he gets the jetpack and like becomes like this like, bigger Optimus Prime. Like that stuff for me is like the inner boy of me is like, this is fucking sweet. I love these moments.
Yeah.
Were those blades in the first movie? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
He just used his fists. So this was.
He got the same weapon as the guy from the new Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I love the throughout the movie. There's so many times where like there's all these one-liners when like people are killing the other Transformers, and half of my things are like this.
Waste of metal.
Or there's this other one here.
Piece of tin.
I do remember that. Wait, did you go to camp ever? Did you sing "I'm a Little Piece of Tin" or whatever?
No.
Do you know that one? Oh my god. Okay, never mind then.
But there's like, I think like Optimus like rips a guy's face in half. He punches through someone's heart and like pulls it out, like really gruesomely. There's also there's that part where like Bumblebee kills Ravager and like basically like skins him and like pulls his like spine out.
I love the spine.
I was like, oh my god,
out. Yeah.
like,
pretty dope.
Like if these were, it's
part was cool.
It is very cool. But I'm like, if these weren't like all just CG robots, people would be like, that's really violent.
It did really like it did have Mortal Kombat vibes.
Yeah, there are lots of finishing.
Yeah, there was.
So good.
All right. Well,
And that's probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
The robot on robot violence.
I think it. You know, I enjoy the first movie more, but I think this one too is like the action is still pretty solid. Although I would say that like a lot of times I feel for some reason the CG robots look worse.
They are.
sometimes than the first movie.
it looked worse. The
Like,
transforming.
It doesn't blend as well sometimes.
Definitely harder in this movie to tell who was fighting who a lot of the time.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of the Transformers blended in with each other, especially in that forest fight scene. Like I couldn't tell who's who.
yeah.
Well, they got away with a lot less actual Transformers in the first movie, and they tried to put more of them on screen in this one, which is commendable. But yeah, the VFX were just not there, and they didn't have the back plates, and there was far less practical effects and all that stuff.
Well, and they tried to like introduce more nanotech type thing, but it looked worse.
There was also just like they had to like there was double the amount of robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the Constructicons.
Yep.
There was even the double amount of racist black robots.
That's right. Yeah, we've been dancing around that.
Yeah, we haven't brought up
This time with gold teeth.
Yeah.
Were they both supposed to be black? I guess they're twins.
Well,
so
one of them is SpongeBob. So.
Right.
They're both. I thought they were both voiced by Tom Kenny.
Oh, maybe they are. That's even worse.
See, I guess we need to know if it's if they're fraternal or what's the other word for twins?
Identical.
Eliz, where's
Identical,
our Transformers child star check-in?
I know, right? Because technically
they're not.
twins could be two different races, I guess.
Sorry, they're not.
That has
both,
happened.
They're not both voiced by Tom Kenny.
No,
Tom
one is
Kenny-
Reno Wilson, who is a black person. So it's like, okay.
Reno Wilson does Mudflap and Tom Kenny does Skids.
But I don't understand then what Tom Kenny is supposed to be doing. I thought maybe it was like a racist gay Latino stereotype kind of voice. I wasn't quite sure what he was trying to do.
I'm not even going to.
You don't even want to guess?
Fine.
Okay.
They just have terrible lines. They say things like "Papa Cap" in their ass. It's
Yeah.
like,
Suck my
why-
popsicle.
Yes.
Or they call Leo shrimp taco.
Yes.
Ooh.
It's like, I don't know. I don't need my Transformers to be like that. They've got a little bit more regalness to them, I feel, in a lot of the other shows.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, you know what else is wrong? There's so much humping in this movie. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
why
humping.
is there so much humping?
So much dry humping.
These robots want to fuck Megan Fox as well.
That scene where he's going off to college, the dogs are humping
Yeah.
like multiple times.
Yes. Like, why do they keep
know,
showing
Who's
this?
the target demo here?
don't know.
humor.
All I will
Why
say,
is that funny? It's just so not funny.
we made the joke about Devastator's balls earlier.
Sure.
And I will say that
Truck nuts.
pretty early on in the special features on the Blu-ray, I didn't get through all of them because it's too long. But very early on, I don't know if this was like staged or this was captured, in real time. But there's a shot of Michael Bay talking to like one of the like designers or the
And then
animators.
just the balls right there.
No, he's like he's literally like, what would be funny? Like, the part in the script when he says he's like underneath, he's sitting under like Devastator's scrotum. Like what I want to see is like I want to see like two like those construction balls. Like I want to see those.
Oh
like
my
see one of
God.
those and like a crane ball there.
He actually wanted that?
Yeah, and there's like a shot of him explaining
that
this.
is 100%.
And he's like,
humor.
that's a killer. That's so fun. That's a killer joke.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be great.
I want to see the jingle of that jangle.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh boy. I don't know if they staged that or what, but like that was definitely something they shot.
They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars making CG robot testicles.
That was multiple people's job for several weeks just to do
they
those
had to do, they had to do the overlap animation on like how
they were like, oh, last in the first movie we had the robots peeing on someone. How can we up the ante on inappropriate Transformer behavior? We got balls.
That's
on
what people
this-
want
on this giant dog robot.
Okay, so We talked about in the first movie, like we were kind of surprised that the Decepticons could like project this fake policeman into the car, right?
Shy is surprised, yeah.
But now
That's good. That's good. I love
this
it.
time, they can make like full-on human androids that fuck.
Let's talk about how this is a backdoor species sequel.
Ooh. Okay, wait. Now I'm more interested than I was. So this hot girl turns out to be a Decepticon.
Yep.
So why are they not transforming into humans all the time?
Right.
Like that seems
It would
like a
be-
lot easier to blend in
That'd
than
be a
like a
better way to
car or a
disguise-
truck.
They could just like go to the military and be like, they could just walk into this underground thing and be like, I'm that guy now.
Yeah, can they look
I'm
like
a
any
general.
human? They can look like a general. Like,
I'm a general. Yeah.
They can look like the car
It's
insurance
like a
general.
scroll thing. It's a car insurance general. Yeah, that's how you save some time. Okay. But then also, even once she starts turning back into like a more robotic Decepticon, she still leaves the like bio tongue.
tongue.
Yeah, so it's like a big
That's
metal
so gross.
thing,
I
but there's
feel
a
like
human tongue on the end.
I feel like that's the species, like I think
Right.
that's a direct lift. Like that, when I was thinking that, has no place in this movie.
She also
Right.
has still robot hair too.
Right.
Robot dreadlock hair.
When she transforms, it's like, ooh.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, but like, what is her plan? Like, what? It makes no sense.
Just to
me.
kill him?
she could have just done that.
Right, at any
Yeah.
time, at the party, at
Yeah.
any
Yeah,
time.
or was she trying to do the like projection thing that they do to him later?
I think she needed his semen.
Why would she need? What purpose would that provide? I don't get it. They weren't like the hieroglyphics are in the semen. We need to know.
She needed to wet her wit wiki.
Are we forgetting the possibility that she was just very attracted to him?
Yeah.
True. She
Um,
Robot
that's literally
loses.
not a possibility. But yeah, the fact that Megan Fox comes in right as he's being like assaulted by this lady robot is just so stupid and contrived.
It's just funny. I wondered, like, while I was watching this movie, like, I knew she was a robot the whole time.
Right.
And I was, like, wondering what you were thinking because they keep showing all these shots and making her look like the scene when she's in the car with Bumblebee. Like, what did you think about Bumblebee slamming her face into the steering wheel where you're like, oh my God, this poor girl just wants to, like...
Also,
No, she does not act like a human being
Also,
at any
wouldn't
point.
Bumblebee know it's a Decepticon?
No, well, that's why he's doing it.
Oh, is he? I thought he was just doing because he didn't want Shia to cheat on Megan Fox.
Well, no,
don't
because
think
he
he
said...
knows.
I don't think he knew.
Because he
he
plays
would
some
kill-
song
he would
like, this
kill it.
girl is evil, you know.
He
she
plays cheating, but he plays like cheating heart.
Your
though.
cheating heart, yeah.
I thought it was just.
I thought it was just
a
he
cheating
was
thing.
looking out for Michaela.
I think he knows, but...
I don't think he knew.
And it's
Otherwise,
speaking
he
of
would have
which-
gone
wait,
way
wait.
more serious.
Why can't he just tell Shia?
Because he can't talk.
Why can't he talk? He got his voice back at the end of the last
He did.
movie.
He sure did.
They do say he was having trouble again or whatever.
There's a whole emotional scene where he's talking again at the end of the last movie.
Yeah.
Also, I really hated.
If you remember, this movie goes to great lengths to make you forget that the first movie happened.
It also, like, at some point he
not
uses
really.
like Christian radio to speak and talks about, like, he's talking about Optimus. He's like, he died for our sins and blah blah. He will rise again and blah blah. I'm like, are you saying now that Optimus Prime is Jesus Christ? Like,
Are you saying that
Pretty
Bumblebee
much.
was there on January 6th?
No! Do not
He probably was.
besmirch Bumblebee like this.
I bet if you Google like a I bet you anything there are like MAGA pictures of Bumblebee on Google. Like if you, yeah,
That's terrible.
I bet you anything.
He's too nice. God. What was I going to say? Oh, you made a joke about how they pretend like the first movie doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's not true because about 30 minutes into the movie, there's a character that comes in and Nest that is literally there to be like, previously on Transformers.
Yeah, there's that sec deaf guy who's
Yeah.
just there to talk about what happened in the first
And he's
movie.
literally like, you guys have no idea. Megatron is buried in this place exactly at these coordinates. And then,
Oh
then
yeah,
it's
so
like,
that they're listening
yeah,
and
and
they
then
can
it's
get
like
it.
Soundwave is up there like
Soundwave acknowledges.
he's up there. He's up there listening to everything. Like last time we left Megatron here, and also the Transformers are in these places.
Also, if there
and
was
blah,
like a
blah, blah.
giant robot as big as a satellite, just like stalking a satellite, wouldn't anyone notice?
Allow me to be this
think they
guy
would.
Okay.
for a moment. Because, like, okay, I have a lot of complaints about these movies that are structural, moral,
Moral.
everything else. But
theoretical.
I'm about to be a Transformers douchebag fanboy, and like Soundwave. Soundwave is a cassette player. And he's one of like the dopest Transformers because like you could get him and you could put a tape in him and he would play.
That's what I was saying. He shoots out tapes that turn into other robots.
Yeah. It's like, why make him a fucking satellite?
I mean, if you're trying to update it for the modern times,
why?
It should be a CD player.
There's nothing about this movie that is updated for the modern times.
Are you sure? I mean, modern times of then, yeah. I guess.
I feel like
it takes place
the
today.
gender dynamics are like of the 1950s.
Well, yeah. I meant
that's
technology.
Such a pet peeve of
technology
mine when movies open with today or present day.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense because it like.
And then they show you a webcam
it
from
just
like
shows
1998.
that you don't give you're not thinking about the future at all when you made this thing. You were like, it's going to be in theaters, and then literally no one will ever revisit this. So, oh well.
Yeah, I have respect for that.
I guess.
You know, did everyone enjoy the Rainn Wilson cameo that shows up here?
I really didn't.
I really did.
He's awful.
I mean, he's terrible.
Calling them nubile.
Yeah, I was like, are there people that are like? Are there
It's probably
professors
the
like
worst
this?
I've ever seen him. Like in anything.
That moment when he like takes a bite of the apple, throws it at the girl, and he goes, "Finish that for me." I was like,
it's really terrible.
It's so sick.
I will say,
finish it for me.
Manic
So
Shia, after he's been affected by Cybertron, it's a pretty fun performance.
It looks cool. Did
Yeah.
they use like CG or did he actually do that? It has to be.
Feels like
no,
that's-
I think he did it.
He does it because it feels like his eyes are going in like two different directions.
I think he did it.
I feel like
It
that's
was
just
cool.
him.
Yeah,
Shia LaBeouf's a good actor.
If he did it naturally, it's really, really cool.
yeah. I think he was doing some work here.
Okay. Respect.
Yeah. I think it was him.
That's maybe the best part of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, the most enjoyable part of the movie is his performance in this.
Because he gets to be
segment of the movie.
he, like, you know, what I enjoyed at least in the first movie is his kind of manic, like screaming and all that stuff.
Right.
And he gets to kind of repeat that. Yeah. Bubble bag. He gets to repeat that in this like moments where he's just like, I got these things in my head and they keep like, you know, and he's writing them all over his like dorm room and stuff. I think that's kind of fun from him. Otherwise, yeah, it's just a lot of him screaming and running.
Yeah. I mean, he's fine. I just like he's a fine character. I don't actually even really have anything against him except for how he treats this girl. Like how he treats his girlfriend is so horrible. Like, and it's
Well, let me ask you guys. I watched just the beginning of the special features and like the main. They were saying like the ballpark. If we want to come back for this, we want to come back for this movie. We got to have a killer idea, and like the main thrust of this film was that the journey was going to be that Optimus Prime gets killed, and it's Sam's fault, and so he has to go on a journey to bring him back. Do you feel like watching this movie that's what you?
No, that's
feel
not what
like?
happened.
I don't feel like it was his fault.
Did not seem to be his fault at all.
Okay.
How was he supposed to help? I get that Optimus was being like, we need your help, but how was he going to help?
So I will say that the Transformers animated movie, Optimus Prime does die.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
And that is
It was a big deal.
And I think that is why there is a lot more fan love for this like random TV show because it had stakes, right? And like Hot Rod replaces him, and it's this whole thing, right? So them attempting to do that in this movie, kind of cool, but it has no weight. It has no.
Well, it has
stakes.
extra no weight when we know there's like 6 more movies,
Right?
with Optimus on the poster. But even at the time, I was like, he's not. dead.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was watching the movie, I was thinking, the Decepticons brought back Megatron with this shard of the cube. Doesn't Sam have one?
Yeah.
He uses it to bring back Jetfire later.
Right.
Why can't he use it to bring back Optimus?
Yeah, exactly.
He's had this in his possession the
He
whole
just
time.
completely forgot that. Well, she has it in her
needs
purse,
the
but he completely
Matrix of
forgot.
leadership.
Also, why does the shard bring back Megatron when the Allsparks what killed him in the first place in the first movie?
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Chad asked me this week. He's like, "How come bring?" And I was like, "We kind of talked about it in our episode." I honestly think literally that it depends how hard you thrust it into, because if they put it up to you and just like tap you with it, it brings you to life. But if you thrust it into their chest, they die.
They went
overloaded?
counterclockwise instead of clockwise.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah. If it touches you, you can come to life. But if you put it into your chest where your main heart
Yeah.
is, it's too much power.
Does it have unlimited uses? Can you like bring back any dead?
Yeah, you can bring
I think
alive a
it's
Mountain
like-
Dew machine, and
I think that's why everyone wanted it, because it's like an unlimited power
I heard
source,
Cybertron was going to raise Allspark fees next year. So.
Well, that's how we get this like wheelie character is like a toy car, right? He's so annoying.
That's the one who humps her
He's
legs,
like
right?
We have to talk about Wheelie
He's like the
now.
gangster type guy who's like, yeah, I'm with the Decepticons.
Yeah.
Also, like about 50% of all of the Transformers of both sides, I'm like, is that Steve Buscemi? Like, I just think it might be him.
Wait, looks or voice?
Voice. And then I look it up and he's not in the movie at all. But like at least half of them, I'm like, oh, is that Steve Buscemi? Like, seriously, I'm not even joking.
I love the idea going forward in the series. It's just like, is that Steve Buscemi?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Wheelie definitely could have been.
Yeah,
definitely could've been.
absolutely. Okay, so yeah, they have this. They're the Fallen is trying to do the Mr. Burns plan.
Yep.
Take away the sun for the uninformed.
Because
Justin.
that's where they get Energon from.
Yeah, and so there's like this old thing in the pyramid, and there's like a tomb of all the other primes that killed themselves to protect the
movie
matrix
doesn't even
of
care about
leadership.
the story.
I love the ancient. I love the obviously I made the joke, but I'm like I love the joke about ancient aliens because I'm like I feel like this movie is what people that love that show think is going to happen in real life.
Yeah,
they're like underneath the pyramids is a giant robotic structure.
Well, and what's his name? Jetfire.
Jetfire.
What's his deal? So he's in the Smithsonian, but he's not American. He's clearly British. And
Okay, I have a few things to say about this.
Okay, please. Go.
One,
You have the floor.
Why is the Washington D.C. Smithsonian in the middle of the desert? First of all,
No, it's not. They
walk outside and they're in the desert.
Oh, I thought it was like
they get teleported.
Yeah,
No.
teleport.
Before they teleport in that yard of all the planes.
I didn't think it was the desert. I just thought it
definitely
was
not urban Washington,
concrete.
D.C.
No, you're right. They're in the Mojave airplane graveyard,
Yes.
and then they also just like it's also a place with planes.
I see.
And also,
That
they
makes
finally
sense.
find like a transformer that can like turn into a plane, and they have to get somewhere, and they don't use him as a plane. He's the one who can teleport.
They suddenly
Yeah, he
introduced
teleports.
like they can teleport out of nowhere. Yeah,
He's
also,
a plane. We have a cool plane scene.
yeah, I didn't understand.
He's an
that
X-Men
either.
plane.
Again, we bring up the idea of parentage of Transformers.
Sure.
Why does he says that his
They
father
fuck.
was the wheel, like literally just a wheel, and all he transformed into was the wheel. And
Also,
like in one generation, that's a lot of to go from the wheel to a jet plane. I guess that's a lot of evolution in one
he
generation.
hilariously has a cane.
Yeah, he has a cane
He's so old he needs a cane.
and he has a British accent.
He does.
So I just don't.
And he can fart out parachutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
It was funny, like, watching this movie, I was
Was
like,
it?
No. I just meant like, I felt like, when this movie came out, like, I think this is an example of like how ultimately forgettable these movies are and convoluted, that like when this movie came out, I was like super excited and like I'm a huge Transformers fan.
Yep.
I was in. I'm like, yes, I want to see this. And like rewatching it now, I'm like, I do not remember anything about Jetfire. Like, I don't remember that character being in
Me
this
neither.
movie at all. I don't remember the whole thing about like, Sam going to,
College.
Transformers heaven or whatever.
Oh, right.
I was like, there's so many things in this movie that like just went over my head. Like, I do not remember this at all rewatching it. And it's just like, oh wow, yeah, these movies are like fun when you watch them and then forget.
Oh God, no! I remembered all of it. Like I remember. Good for you. No, not good for me. I saw this movie in theaters, and like I was deeply traumatized at the time. I previously believed that like nothing could be so nonsensical and like have such contempt for its audience and still be like released. And then Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen came along to like shatter my rose-colored glasses.
I mean,
I think I was like, big robots. Fine.
I mean, I thought it was bad, obviously, but seeing the reviews and the ratings saying that it's like so bad, I'm also kind of like, I don't know, is it really that much worse than the first one? I really don't think it's that much worse than the one that we saw last week, honestly. But
I think
it's more racist.
Yeah, it goes
and more
hard
misogynistic.
on, like, it goes hard on like
The plot makes way less sense.
Yeah. Oh, so at some point they go to get John Turturro, who has to like show his ass and underwear some more.
Again, Target demo.
Yeah, and also more
Kids
importantly,
love Turturro.
like I think
Kids
so far,
love Barton Fink.
Kids love
Barton
Turturro.
Fink.
the two most important threads in a Transformers movie, I think at this point, are Linkin Park and men screaming at the women in their family and being very mean to them. Like,
mom.
Yeah, he's like screaming at his mom for no reason. So I'm like, okay, good thing they carried that over because now we can have it. I don't know.
I did think it was funny that the parents got to be involved in more action sequences.
I
and
know why.
I was
Why?
like, I wonder what it was like for them to film that. Those old
I mean, the dad's
to be
not so
brought
bad.
there
I
is
really
so
hate the mom.
Ben from Veep, I love him.
Yeah.
I really hate the mom, honestly. Like, I hate to be like.
I did love the part where
misogynistic,
she had a pop brownie and then like got super violent from it all of a sudden,
my
like
God,
like
that was
a
so
70s
stupid.
anti-drug ad.
I forgot about
I
that.
didn't know it was
Reefer
funny at
madness
all.
happened.
It was so
Yeah.
bad. She really irritates me. I know it's not her fault. She was written that way, obviously, but it's bad.
Also,
So anyways, there's this thing, the Matrix of Leadership, which is supposed to be the thing that brings Optimus Prime alive. First of all, stupid name.
Sure.
Like, why isn't it called something cool like Allspark
Well,
or
that's
whatever,
what it has been called in the Transformers lore.
Oh, it's it's already in.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right, fair
it's
enough.
It's in Beast Wars even.
Oh, okay, fine.
Do we?
It's like a connection. It's like something that they
I thought
used
that was
to-
just a bone they were throwing to Hugo Weaving.
The Matrix. I think in Beast Wars too is like the Matrix like had like the full history of all the Transformers.
Oh, in it?
And it was like
Of their planet?
And it was also like a connection. You
Who
use it
fought
as
who?
to connect to the afterlife and everything. So
Well, that's way cooler. In this, it's a MacGuffin that's going to bring Optimus Prime back to life,
and then
for
turns into
absolutely no
a silica
reason,
packet.
as soon as Shia touches it, it turns into dust, which he has to
Put in a sock.
pour into a sock and then run around with the sock. Which is like, why didn't he just run around with the thing? Like, it would have been way better.
Elias, you have to earn the Matrix of leadership. Okay, you can't just get it.
He had,
You
he
gotta
had to go to the
earn it.
spirit plane
You got to earn it.
and talk to the Black Panther.
I was going to say the ancestral plane. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Go ahead.
I just can't believe him going to Robot Hem is the thing that happened in a movie.
And all the primes are like, this was what you were meant to do. You're bringing Optimus Prime back to life was your destiny from
Because we all killed
one.
ourselves for no reason. We were the only ones who could kill the Fallen, but we all just turned ourselves into rock instead of hiding someplace better.
Also, I guess we die. I don't know. It's confusing.
It's so, I mean, I don't really remember. I'm just like kind of saying what my notes were at this point. At one point,
so much
for
random
the
shit.
listener, Eliz and I watched this 6 days ago,
Yeah.
and this movie is forgettable. Like it erases itself from your mind the second you stop watching.
yeah, and
It's the definition of a popcorn movie where
Yes.
you're like you're eating you're like fuck I love popcorn I'm gonna eat it you start eating it you're like oh my god it's amazing and then you're like fuck I shouldn't have gotten this big of a bucket it's too much I hate popcorn now and then you forget about it but then the next time you're like I don't know the smell of popcorn I'm gonna get it. That's what these movies are like.
I love
No, this movie is like I ate some popcorn and now I never want popcorn again.
But that's not true because there's 6 more movies.
And I stopped watching them after this one.
okay.
Really?
This movie, I hated this movie so much. I never saw another Transformers movie after.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Never again.
There's some good stuff.
What are you going to listen to the rest of our episodes?
I'll probably watch them now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you gotta.
No, you
You
don't have to
gotta.
watch. Just
You'll
listen to our
enjoy
episodes.
Bumblebee.
So I'll also, I'm woefully bereft of knowledge of Middle Eastern politics, but there's this whole thing about going from Egypt to Jordan and
Yeah, they don't even have a border in real life.
Oh, really? Okay.
They treated the pyramids in Petra like they were like right next to each other.
And they're not, yeah.
The two countries are separated by Israel.
Yeah.
Like the pyramids
Oh.
aren't even on the part of Egypt that is in Asia. It's in the part of Egypt that's in Africa, like 500 miles from Jordan.
Okay, and then at some point you have a border patrol guy played by Deep Roy.
Yeah, the Dimperoy.
Which is just why did he do
Like, I
this?
thought it was weird that there's that point where they're like, oh shit, we've got Jordan reinforcements.
Right, that's
and
what
then
I was
those
gonna say. That's
helicopters
what I was
get
getting
shot
at.
down
Yeah.
immediately.
Tyrese is like, all right, the Jordanians are here, and then they
And then it's
immediately
like,
die.
boom, boom,
and so I
dead,
was like,
all
was this
dead.
some sort of like propaganda thing that the
Yes.
U.S. wanted them to put in?
Yes.
Okay, but then why then immediately kill them?
It's so
Because
weird.
they're not the United States military.
Because they're not good enough.
They can't hold up.
It's so terrible.
No, like
I don't
seriously.
know. If it was up to the U.S. military, they probably would have included Israel, which would have made
Sure,
sense. With
fair enough.
Location-wise.
No clue. So
just
that was
weird.
like most of what I had because that's it's really bad. But I will say that like it was kind of funny because like I said, the dad has a better arc in this movie than, Megan Fox or his roommate or anybody, because it's like comes to this, you got to let me go, I'm in college now thing. And I was like, this is the exact scene we just saw from Scream 6.
Yes.
With the two sisters, and now I'm going to college and you've got to let me go.
Yeah.
Literally. Like,
Scream did it better.
Yes, it did.
Are there any? There's things that I like.
Okay,
about
go
this
ahead.
movie. I think
bold.
I always anytime I think of this movie in particular, I'm like, there's so many explosions.
There really is.
And it's like, once we get to the
they
stuff
made Megan
in
Fox
Jordan,
run in slow motion.
Yeah,
a
there's
lot.
so much.
Oh my
When we
God.
get stuff in Jordan, there's so many huge explosions,
in white pants,
and the action sequences are. There's still some good. I think I like the opening. I like the opening sequence with the giant double wheel Constructicon and everything.
You mean the part where Optimus Prime is a truck and he drops out of the plane, turns into a robot midair, and then turns back into a truck before he hits the ground for no reason? He needs to be a
robot to fly down because it looks cooler than a truck, and then he lands as a truck, and then he turns back into a robot. Yes, I thought I had that same
It is
thought.
amazing that they drop him out of a plane. It's like, why?
But it's cool. I don't know. It looks cool.
It looks fucking
I'm
great.
sorry.
Yeah, why did they just dump him every time? Why don't they lower him down slowly?
I love how you're talking about that. Really, just dump him.
They do. They dump him both on the airfield and then later on the desert. Which I'm like, wouldn't he just break? Especially when they
There's
dumped
so
him
much
on the
in this
cement.
movie where they're talking about the military moving around a corpse of a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, they must know something we don't. Why are they bringing Optimus to Jordan? Yeah. I just think I say that yes, that some of the CG is a little bit less convincing than the first movie, but I feel like the action is still if you are going for this literally just for
good
action explosions and okay, I'm sorry, I think it's good.
It's good.
It's still
It is
pretty good.
I liked the action in the first movie. It was just way more messy in this one. It was just, you can't tell what's happening at any point.
And I still just fucking this is another, as the movies started to get less good.
Sure.
I feel like this is one of the worst ones, and there's some that are better and some that are worse. But
Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. I still just love to hear Peter Cullen talk as Optimus anytime.
Anytime.
There's this great line, like it's stupid, but for me, I just love hearing him say stuff like this.
Before your president decides, please ask him this. What if we leave and you're wrong?
It's just
I did like
so
that line.
good.
Yeah.
It's just
Also, he benefits in this movie from being dead, so he doesn't have to say any of the stupid stuff like the eBay.
His voice just sounds unreal.
It's
I'm
really
like,
great.
I'm like, what do they like? Is that just him, or what do they do to? It's just like, I
think
just
it's just
love
him, right? I mean, it's like a Thurl Ravenscroft type of
it's a
epic
good
voice.
He's
and
been
it's
doing it for a long time.
Goofy stuff like that. Just it's over the top, but it just sounds great coming from his voice, and I enjoy it.
I think that's the insane thing about this movie, in that there's a lot of pathos to the Transformers lore. There's already a lot that's already there.
Yeah.
And then to throw all this ancient alien shit, and I feel like the Fallen listeners can call me out. Maybe that's something that was in the comics,
I don't remember,
or in the show. But it's you don't need to invent lore on top
so that
of this.
was invented, but the Matrix of Leadership.
The Matrix was
not.
real, but the Fallen, I'm not sure about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And it's just why?
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's
Megatron is a good enough villain.
I think that the most
and
interesting...
he fell into a hole last movie, so it could have still
Revenge of Megatron.
He had fallen into a hole.
Quite literally.
It is interesting though that we talked about how the last movie we again have Hugo Weaving voicing Megatron here. But we talked about in the last
because
movie.
the Matrix of Leadership.
Of course, yeah. But we talked about the last movie that he's barely a villain, and I feel like he gets more time in this movie, even though he's not the main.
He's barely in it though, still.
Yeah, but he gets more lines and and we get more of the dynamic with him and Starscream than we do in the first movie. You have no idea. You would have been like, oh, Starscream is his second lieutenant.
Yeah, Starscream's really lame in this one compared to the first one.
Well, that's how he is. That's how.
That's how he normally is.
He's
I
like
love it when
a
characters are
worm
more
tongue.
lame.
He's like a worm tongue character.
But
he's
the
worm
line
tongue.
at the end when he's like, I don't want to make you feel like a shit, but sometimes cowards survive. That's totally Starscream's.
Oh, it
thing.
is. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's.
Well, I like that he had more of a character.
He would make a play for leadership, but he would
wiki.
also be like, I'm gonna run out of here as soon as shit looks bad.
So I think that there's something that is very that if I was gifted the Transformers franchise and saying like, hey, like here's the story,
cursed with it.
Like there is a story to explore in that, like, and they kind of do this a little bit in the first movie, and they completely ignore it here. And that, like, the War of Cybertron is like it is the Autobots and the Decepticons. They lost their planet.
Yeah.
Right,
Superman
they lost it to war. It's not even like they lost it to war.
Yeah,
and the Autobots are here, and they're trying to like. Optimus has that whole speech in the first movie where he's like, they should have the ability to choose, but I want to save this species from self-destruction, right? And there's something really compelling about that idea of alien race coming here. We have squandered all of our gifts, and I want to protect this species from making the same mistakes. And you have this whole military integration and everything else. You can do something powerful with that. And this movie just refuses.
Yeah.
Refuses that in a way that is like, why even bring it up?
True.
Yeah. Okay, so Chad might be like our most prepared guest ever of all time. So is there anything that you would like to bring up that we haven't covered?
Sure. I thought it was weird that when they go to the pyramids and to Petra, there's no one there.
No tourists.
Two of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. There's no security, no tourists, no anything. They're all alone.
There's just lots of construction equipment that can be turned into giant robots.
I thought it was interesting that the aircraft carrier guy just took orders on the radio to shoot the pyramids from someone he's never met or heard of.
That was so funny when he was like, "Hey, sailor, who are you?" And he's like, "I'm the captain of the USS." And he's like, "Oh, okay, captain. Well, then I know you have this secret,
I love how
railgun."
this movie pits the most unlikable characters together, and it's like, no, you have to watch them as we're cutting back and forth between these action sequences.
And they're heroes now. John Turturro is a hero.
Oh, the one part I did like about the movie, as someone who has cats, I like the part where the robot cat vomited nanobots into the drain pipe.
Yeah.
I found that amusing.
Yeah. I did like that. I did like the design of the nanobots turn into this like basically like sliver thin like piece of metal that like if you looked at it straight on, you wouldn't be able to see it. I thought that was kind of cool, and I think it cuts someone in half.
It was a cool idea
in one of the scenes.
In podcast world overlap, is this the scene that made Jeff Kanata hate nanobots?
Maybe. We joked about like there's so many terrible lines in this movie, but everyone, like I did think that this part was funny.
Earth? Terrible name for a planet. Might as well call it Dirt. Planet Dirt.
I mean, it literally is.
It is.
Planet word.
Dirt. Yeah.
Oh, well.
I thought that was fun. But yeah, I don't know. This movie is just all over the place.
I liked how all the cars were always very, very shiny, even though they're driving through the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a couple like
you gotta get that Chevrolet money, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to talk about some product placements?
Oh yeah, I wrote down every product.
Every single one?
Not just that I noticed.
Okay.
There's probably more than this, but
Right.
I saw GMC, Audi, U-Haul, State Farm, Mobil, Mountain Dew, HP, Apple, Cisco, Valvoline, Planters, Volvo, Southwest Airlines, the New York Jets, the Kansas City Chiefs, Harley Davidson, Chevrolet, Saturn, Zoo York, Ralph Lauren, LG, Sprint, Carte d'Or, Budweiser, AT&T, Walgreens, News Corp, Panasonic, Yahoo, Ricoh, Chase Bank, HSBC, Garmin, the New York Post, CNN, Bose, Air France, Adidas, Conoco, and Mexico and IMAX.
Okay,
So I don't know if you listened. So last
That was a
episode,
lot.
I did.
I think we gotta clap for that.
Yes, amazing.
We gotta clap for that.
There's probably more.
I did talk about how Art Center's film department, which is where I went, was made from people from the advertising major just retaking the same filmmaking class. And one of those people is Michael Bay.
Oh, man.
I will say, though, that I think just when it's the news organization, it's not a product placement. It's like a courtesy. They let them use their fake
The CNN?
Yeah, CNN or Fox News or whatever. And then also when it's I'm not sure about the NBA, but I know for sure, at least for MLB and some of the other sports leagues, it's like you can use the team logos and stuff in like the art department stuff as long as it's not like portraying.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying these are all paid product placements, but these are all the products I noticed.
Right. So yes, that's very good. My favorite one was when the dad was like, "I think that with what State Farm's covering, we'll be able to fix our house, like or whatever,
With them and the government, it'll be fine.
Yeah, between State Farm and what the government's paying us in hush money, our house will be fixed by the time we get back from vacation."
Hold on.
J.K. Simmons will take
Speaking
care
of the
those.
government hush money, I thought it was insane that this movie puts forth that the Transformers still are a secret.
Yeah. Everybody saw the last movie.
Like the movie is like, oh yeah, like no one can know we're involved. They aren't real. No one knows. I'm like, are you kidding me? There was a huge the
downtown LA.
The battle was so insanely huge. How could they cover that up?
Do you know that in Transformers lore, I only know this because I was looking up, that was not downtown LA.
That was a Mission City.
Was Vegas?
Mission City.
Yeah.
What's Mission City?
That's what they called it in the first movie.
That's what they call it.
Random place, USA.
Oh my God. Okay.
And then they retconned it to LA.
But it was still a huge fucking city. Like people would know about this. Come on.
And they're having meetings in broad daylight. Like when they go to the graveyard,
Yeah.
they have that meeting. There has to be
There
people
were still
seeing
cell
them,
phones in 2007. Come
Yeah.
on.
They're standing on top of a building at one point.
Yes.
Like,
What a mess.
But they're talking about it where it's like random internet. Like they're talking about it like it's QAnon.
It's just, exactly. And, and it's like, it was just weird that there's this whole sequence about like the Fallen, taking over the airwaves and announcing that like, it's time to finally let everyone know we're here or whatever. And it's just like, come on, people would have known.
Yeah.
There's no way you could have hidden that.
Speaking of, like, you just said the Fallen, I just love the idea. We were talking about Starscream being a little bitch. And him, like Megatron being like, oh, like, you only serve me. And then, like, literally the next scene being like, what do you want me to do, my Fallen? Starscream was just serving your boss.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
So the end of the movie, too, the end of the movie leaves Megatron alive, Starscream alive, Fallen super dead.
Sure.
fallen.
He's fallen.
He's fallen.
Fallen even further.
The last thing I'll say is that, nobody listened to a Hybrid Theory burn CD more than me back in the day, but this Linkin Park song sounds exactly like what I've done. It's like it's close to indistinguishable.
It's a different song.
It is a different song.
I didn't know in the middle of the movie when it played, I was like, oh, they're playing What I've Done Again. And at the end of the movie, I was like, oh my God, it's actually a different song as it was going.
I could have sworn that was what
I guarantee they were like, it needs to sound the same.
Yeah. It's called New Divide.
Yeah.
It has the word new in it, so you know it's new.
It's new. Yeah.
It sounds exactly the same as What I've Done. I'm sorry, Linkin Park.
Oh, since I'm here, I might as well bring up one more thing. My mom, Sharon Kaplan, who's a metalsmith, every piece of jewelry that Megan Fox wears in this and the previous Transformers movie, she made.
Oh,
so that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Wait, I literally did not know this ahead of time. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the costumer was looking for jewelry for Megan Fox, she was shopping at my mom's store and got all her stuff.
That's
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's a great connection.
And it's good jewelry.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's immortalized forever in these movies.
That's right.
It's immortalized in this monument to misogyny.
This literally perfect film. No notes. No, I'm kidding. Okay, before we move into the rating system, because I feel like we're almost done. Does anyone have
anything else?
Any last words?
Anyone?
No, not me.
Okay, rating system, Tyler. You got one?
Oh boy. How many unnecessary humps would you give?
Oh boy.
Yikes.
I don't want to hump it any time.
Okay, hold on.
0 times.
What else do we have here?
Unnecessary humps. That was a good one.
Transformer scrotums.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How many robot balls?
Pairs or single?
Pairs. Okay. How many pairs of robot testicles would you give Transmorphers Fall of Man? Nope. Wait.
No, that's the wrong movie.
Transformers
Sorry,
Revenge of the Fallen.
we're confused.
Yeah. Are you ready? You want me to go?
No, you go.
Okay, I'm
going to
give it 3 pairs of robot wrecking balls.
6 balls.
Yeah. No, 3. Because
no, you said 3 pairs.
I'm going.
You said to rate it by pairs, so it's out of 20.
I know.
Okay. Anyways, 3 rating of 3 because I do think it was worse than the last one for sure. But still, I actually weirdly don't think that it was that much worse than the other one. Like, people are so hard on it, rightfully so, but I don't know why they're more hard on it but people like the first one.
Yeah, it has 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, and there are way more insane. Like, it is.
You gave the first one 5, right?
No, I think I give it 4.
Oh wow.
You give it 5.
Oh, well, I meant to give it 4. Whatever. I give this one 3. It's hard to remember
Chad
from
has
episode
receipts.
to episode. I thought you didn't listen to the whole thing.
I listened to parts of it.
Okay.
The important parts.
I'm still gonna give this one 3. I don't care. We never remember these.
3 pairs of robot balls.
Yeah, it's just very bad. All of it's bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2 pairs of robot balls. I feel like I would go really low on this, but the parts that keep me wanting to come like a little bit higher are that I still love Optimus. I know he's dead for a lot of this, and this I think is a recurring theme that will come up in future movies. Yep. But I still love Optimus, and I think that the action is still pretty good, even though the CG is definitely like a little bit chintzier in this movie for whatever reason. I think that I don't know. The thing that comes to my mind when I watch this is just like literally I put this on my letterbox. It's like just so many explosions.
Yeah.
And there's not, I know explosions don't equal good, but just the
sheer filmmaking.
Yeah. The technical
nonsense,
aspects that go
yes.
into making the entire final sequence, and a lot of this stuff in this movie, the final sequence is almost, I don't know, half an hour long at least. And then there's some other good sequences in this film that I think are just well done action pieces. I just wish that it wasn't surrounded by just so much nonsense and crap. And I wish that, I literally just watched this a couple days ago, and I still would be hard pressed to be like, this is exactly what happened in the plot.
Oh yeah, I could not tell you.
It's just I just don't remember why did they have to go do this thing? And those things are all super muddled, and that's not good. It
doesn't matter.
I know. You're right. It doesn't matter. And that's why I'm like, okay, whatever. As a delivery service for fun action, robots punching each other and doing finish him moves, it's great. I love that. That's it.
So I agree with everything that you've said about those action sequences, but I'm going to give this a single unit of robot.
Ooh,
because
dang.
I think that this
Now
movie,
I want to go lower on this.
This movie is not only boring, it did genuine harm. I think to society.
Fair.
Yes.
Fair.
In a way that I think is measurable, and in traits that I have seen that are modeled in this movie that are getting projected out into the ether. It's fucking despicable. It's kind of a despicable movie.
Does the rating scale start at 0 or 1?
You can do what you wish.
You can do whatever you want. You're the guest.
I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to give it a 1, but I'm also going to sentence Michael Bay, Alex Kurtzman, Roberto Orsi, and Aaron Kruger to death.
Oh, whoa. No,
I think
death penalty.
I think
That's never
death
happened
penalty
before,
is-
but we
death?
are a jury. So
I'm just trying to be
he's
fair
allowed.
for what
It's
I said.
possible.
Oh my
It's
God.
I'm just trying to take all the evidence presented to me and make a fair judgment.
Dang. All right.
I believe this is one of the bottom 5% of movies ever made.
I don't know about that.
Whoa.
Let's not forget Meatballs 3, guys.
I just don't think I can agree with that based on just the craft of the action filmmaking.
So I think a lot of work went into the action scenes, and they were still boring as fuck.
But there's worse.
I think
there's got to be worse movies.
I don't.
Come on.
I agree with
get
you.
it.
There are set pieces that are technically fantastic in this movie, but it is it feels like it's made in 1988. It was made in 2009.
Yeah. I mean,
It was even more racist than I remembered it being.
Yeah,
And I remember it being pretty racist.
Pretty grim.
Shia's face, though. He was doing that cool thing. I still have to give him points.
I have to say, none of this is Shia LaBeouf's fault. though.
He blinked so fast.
He did, yeah. Okay,
It's
so
it's like that 80s Bill Murray thing where it's just this dorky schlubby dude. He's the most beautiful woman in the world is fascinated by you.
no, I want
And should be, and you should be entitled to that.
I think she exits. I don't know exactly when she exits, but I hope it's soon. Just leave her alone.
I mean, she
Like,
very
leave
publicly
her alone?
trashes Bay, which is
She
Right. I
she
think
gets
they
fired
made
for
out.
not agreeing to his creepy sexual advances
just
or whatever.
suck a popsicle.
Okay. Well, I'll look it up before the next one, so we can literally, so we can say the most accurate updates on it. What's going on with them?
Wrapping up Transformers.
Yeah, we're done with Revenge of the Fallen now. Thank you for listening. But next week, we're back with more Transformers. It's literally another 2 years later, 2011, Transformers Dark of the Moon. And you know what? It's film number 3. And you know what that means? Here comes Patrick Dempsey.
Meatballs 3.
Meatballs 3.
He's sauntering in for the threequel.
Dempsey.
Oh my God. I can't believe it.
Here he comes.
I thought you were going to say that it's in 3D.
I mean, it probably was, honestly.
I totally forgot. I am very excited about this.
Dempsey.
Actually,
Temps 3.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it was in 3D when it came out.
Okay.
But
We probably saw it in 3D.
Yeah, we probably did. Patrick Dempsey coming in for like he's the main character or whatever. It's called Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Dempsey of the Moon.
And yeah, it's Michael Bay is back too. It's you know. Let's see if we can do a better Revenge of the Fallen. You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it. No.
Chad hasn't seen it.
I haven't
Ulyss
seen it,
hasn't
that's
seen
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
Tyler and I,
we probably went.
I went up to my Blu-ray collection and was like, there it is.
Okay.
I already had it.
Yeah, I won't be rewatching anything until we get to Drunk Tucci. That's what I'm waiting for.
Dang. Okay, you still gotta wait.
Being on this episode might have given me enough catharsis that I can go back to the series.
Yeah, you gotta. Now you gotta be. I mean, there's more. You gotta be curious. If
You gotta be curious.
You gotta be. Oh man, well thank you all for joining us, and thank you Chad for being here for a movie that you hated. I'm sorry.
There was so much stupidity in this movie that we did not even address.
Yeah,
We talked for an hour.
Like, should we address it?
I have like 7 more plot holes written down.
Do people need to know?
Yeah.
Just
All right.
know.
So let us know what you think about this movie, or email us anything else at sequelrights@gmail.com. We've been getting a lot of CVS spam receipts lately, Justin.
I saw
Have you been seeing those? Yeah.
This is the last chance for Timmy, it said today.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's Timmy? Are you Timmy? I don't know.
Timmy's fucked.
Timmy is he's so fucked. CVS hates that.
Yeah. So sequelrights@gmail.com. Send us your spam or your fan mail. And then social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube @sequelrights.
And we will be the #1 podcast in the world if you find us the matrix of leadership.
Yes.
If you have any leads,
I think we've earned
please
it.
leave them in
we've
your
earned
iTunes reviews.
All right. Thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you guys next week for Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Any last words?
No, that's the end of the podcast. All right. See you guys.
Time began to burn like a startling sign that fate had finally found me in your voice.